Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right? Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and be receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards. Use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. All right? And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Oh, and an Eight of Pentacles. That is a very lovely way to begin a reading. That tells me that things are really progressing as they should. There is this attention on detail right now. There's a Two of Wands. Let's see what else we've got. We've got some court cards here already now. Path of the Serpent here. Some more major arcana. It seems that we only have the one major arcana card, the Lust or Strength card at the end. This is interesting because this kind of tells me that with the Lust or Strength card, this is like destiny fulfilled, you know. I think amazing things really are happening right now. But let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to use the Smith-Waite Tarot. And this is the card that we select randomly. We are going to set it aside. We'll put our little horse on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. And hopefully at the end of the reading that will tie everything together, you know, give us the confirmation that we need. Okay, so let's look at these cards again. We've got some, well, we got these court cards. We've got some fire. We've got some air. We've got some earth. We've got some more air, some fire, and some earth. So really what we're lacking here, let me just double check. Yeah, we're lacking in pretty much every conceivable way, except maybe in the 8, we could say there's a little water there, but otherwise there's no water here, okay? So I think what's going on is very intense. It's very, very physical. It's very like solid earth kind of energy, right? I think things are really happening. I think great things are coming your way. Just the fact that we have this Princess of Discs in the immediate future. This is, you're looking forward to something quite amazing, all right? I think that things are really happening right now. Let's start with this 8, though. Let's start with the 8 of Pentacles, because right now, you're being advised to slow down, right? With all of this Princess of Discs, Princess of Pentacles in the future, got to slow down right now because we really want to maximize this, right? Something really, really amazing is happening in your life. Let's slow down. Let's do it the proper way so that it can grow as big as possible, right? If we rush now, if we kind of go with some of this air energy, which we got, this isn't the best air energy, right? We don't really want to fall into these. If we start using this air energy, then when we get to the Princess of Pentacles here, it's not going to be all that great. It's not going to be the best, the most fantastic, wonderful thing that we could imagine, right? We want to maximize that card. We want to get everything. We want it to grow as luscious as possible, right? So right now we've got to slow our roll. I think we need to focus on those details, right? We know that something amazing is happening right now. Let's not get carried away. Let's be focused, disciplined. Keep your composure. Yeah. 8 of Pentacles. Keep your composure. Even when we are crossed by this Two of Wands, this really strong, fiery energy, you feel like a boss. You feel confident. You feel proud. You feel energized. You feel creative. That's good. We've got to harness that. Okay? We've got to put all of that excitement, all of that strength into these details. Let's not skip a beat. If we know that these amazing things are happening, or they are coming in from tomorrow, let's say, doesn't mean that we could fool around today. You know, we don't want to let that excitement throw us off our routine, throw us off our cool, calm, collected composure. And maybe that's why we don't see any of the water energy here, because we need to find a little bit of it. It's a little dry here, okay? And you have to excuse my voice. I am indeed a little hoarse today. That's my dad joke for the week, okay? So we need to find some of this water energy because we need to cool off a little bit. These plants can't grow with just air and soil and sunlight, right? We need a little bit of water here too. So we're going to search for it in any way that we can. Maybe down here in the Eight of Swords, we can find some water, because the Eight, it represents, it's kind of a, elementally the Eights are associated with water, but it's not very strong. It's not a very large component in the Eight of Swords. But we can still say there's a little bit in there. So maybe that's the little bit that we need, right? Because this expectation, this excitement of what's coming down the line could really, we could start to be a little bit reckless now. We don't want to be. We want to maintain our composure. This Eight of Pentacles is saying, yes, great things, great abundant crops are growing, but now's not the time to go wild. Now you've got to continue doing what you're doing so that we can maximize the harvest, right? That we can really get everything out of this that's possible. Now, what exactly are you doing? What is it that we're waiting for? What is it that we are growing? I don't know. We do see a lot of this earth energy here. See, in the middle, we've got earth, and then over here to earth and the environment. So I kind of feel like it's some kind of business that you've been building, something that you're working on in your physical environment. It could literally be opening the doors to a new business. Maybe it's an online business. Maybe you have an actual brick and mortar store. Maybe you're beginning to sell some of your art pieces, or you have an opportunity now to really start kind of earning a living off of your creativity. Not to diminish the creativity in any way, but to support you as an artist. But it's something to do with a physical object, I feel, right? Whether it's a building or something that you create, that's more a more traditional piece of art, I guess. I do feel like this opportunity, or this kind of project, this business, or whatever exactly it is, I feel like it came on very suddenly. And it's very interesting that we have this rush of fire and extension via the Two of Wands, and then we have this kind of the end result that's more yielding, it's more crystallized, it's more concrete, and it's kind of extending into the present moment via this Eight of Pentacles. So we have fire that's kind of coming in this way, and we have the earth that's kind of coming back that way, meeting in the middle. This is very interesting. Just the way the cards are set up and the way the energy is flowing. It's as if your creative fire is trying to push forward, but all of the future abundance, the future results are kind of pushing back, saying, hey, let's meet in the middle. Let's not blaze forward, but let's not let the earth and let's not let the vines kind of overgrow everything, right? It's kind of that balance of trying to establish the balance anyway between our activity and the growth of nature, right? If we don't trim the plant a little bit, it's going to take over. The vines are going to wrap around us and the house and everything. Nature's going to overrun everything, right? Which maybe is not a bad thing, but that's beside the point. On the other hand, our ambition, our fire energy that we see here, this could do too much, trim the plant back so much that we end up kind of killing the plant, ruining the potential, right? ruining the possibilities of all of this fantastic growth. So we could look at it as human activity over here, nature over here, and if it's out of balance, then it's either we just kind of tear through and burn everything down, trim everything back to nothing, or we don't do enough and we get kind of overrun by the growth. And I think that kind of metaphor or analogy is applying to your life right now. You want to put in enough effort to keep it manicured, to keep it growing, right? You trim the plant back a little bit and you encourage it to grow larger, right? It's you trim a little bit off the top so that it can grow more horizontally, or vice versa, something like that. I'd have to ask my wife. She's got the green thumb. Or you don't do enough and the situation really overwhelms you, right? Too much happens in too many different areas of your life and you're not sure what to do now. It's kind of, we've been pushed off balance. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on here on the horizontal plane of the path of the dove. Now, how do we maintain this balance? Because again, something really, really amazing is happening. And because of this major arcana card at the end, I feel like this is something that is your destiny. I feel like this was meant to be. And now we just have to kind of, nurture it a little bit, right? It's very exciting. Well, let's go to this Prince of Swords at the bottom. This is air on air. This is a double air energy. And this is beneath the surface. It's something unconscious with you. It's something that we're not aware of. I wonder if this is another person. A lot of the time, the princes represent our interaction with someone. Right, represents a relationship of some kind. I wonder if you have a relationship with an air sign person that is a heavy influence on you, but kind of on the unconscious level. Okay. For some of you, it may be resonating that way. It may be someone that you can pinpoint and be like, yeah, you know what, now that I think about it, this person really is an influence on me. Now, it could be someone from history, could be a role model, could be a family member, could be a friend. It could be an ancestor. It could be someone that's no longer on this plane, right, that has transcended. But I feel as if their opinion is really influencing you. I almost feel like you just hear a whisper of somebody else's voice, and it's kind of giving you some kind of guidance. But I don't know if this is positive or negative guidance, right? I don't know if it's somebody who is kind of talking in your ear, trying to undermine everything, or if this is someone that's kind of giving you some positive advice. I think the ultimate message here with the double air energy is that we're not really sure either, right? That this is something unconscious that's influencing you in some way, but we need to get to the bottom of this. Now, this could be a part of ourselves, especially when we look at the Nine of Swords at the top. Yeah, the Nine of Swords at the top is maybe the conscious, the active, the swords the air energy that we're aware of. Okay, we can observe ourselves doing this, and this, I think, is kind of our some self-sabotage. This is almost us not believing that we deserve this really, really good growth, this really amazing thing that's happening on the horizontal plane, right? But up above everything, we have these thoughts, these beliefs about ourselves. We've got some kind of negative energy that we are consciously engaging with that may be telling us, well, we don't deserve this. I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to, I'm going to make a mess of this. Or saying, that you don't really want it. It's not really true. It's never going to happen. All of these negative things, right? These are some 9 poison-tipped little daggers that we keep poking ourselves with, right? We keep poking ourselves with it. And maybe there's some connection here with this unconscious person. Maybe this is someone from our past that we don't realize has influenced us to be a little Nine of Swords. Yeah. It could be that we're projecting this Nine of Swords onto other people or someone else, thinking that they are attacking us, putting us down, trying to sabotage us, when really it's something, this card is maybe not out there as a separate person, maybe it is underneath here as part of ourselves. And it could be something, like the way we were raised, a certain parental influence, or just something from childhood or young adulthood that now has become kind of imprinted on our unconscious, and it's just kind of a habit that we're in now of, putting ourselves down or speaking negatively about ourselves, even when we have such amazing growth coming. Even when what we're doing is really succeeding, we're finding a way to be kind of negative about it. But again, we might think that it's coming from someone else externally, or we might not recognize that, hey, this is what, a family member, or this is what I experienced in childhood or something. And so it's just kind of it's an unconscious tendency that we still have, something that we've learned kind of to do. So we need to get out of this air energy, and we have these 3 air cards here, 1, 2, and then 3 as we get to the path of the serpent. But the 8 of Swords might be the saving grace, because this might be where we find just enough of the water energy to have this kind of reflection. See, the water energy, water's probably the best energy. If you ask the Tao Te Ching, it'll say water is the best. But even I think in tarot, everybody likes the fire energy, right, or the major arcana, but water. I think water is so subtle and has so many different levels to it, so many different depths. It really is a great energy, because it could be just reflection. The little bit of water energy could say, hey, we have just enough reflection of ourselves that we can observe that we're doing this. We can see this, and it's not, we can get rid of it. Just by reflecting upon it, oh yeah, I'm doing that. I need to focus on what I'm doing here and not get wrapped up in these negative thoughts. So there's the surface level reflection of the water, right? And that could be just a little bit of water here. It's just enough for us to reflect on this. And just bringing this to light is enough, maybe, perhaps. But this is also, there's also a level of water where we get to the real kind of intuitive understanding, the intuitive knowledge of where we are, what we're doing, why, what the significance of this is, right? Because the 8 of Swords generally is about us being so tied up in our thoughts, mostly negative, restrictive thinking, right? We're finding ways to trap ourselves in place, to ensnare our progress, to shoot ourselves in the foot, right? We're wrapping ourselves tighter and tighter with all of this negative thought. But the 8 of Swords is, especially in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it shows somebody who is bound and hoodwinked, but there are all these swords around them. They could easily just kind of lean up against one and cut their bindings, right? We see it in movies or something. And that's the means of escape, right? That's how we get out of this tangle, this web of thoughts that's kind of keeping us from making progress. So maybe in this case, this little dagger that we can lean against to cut our hands free, maybe this is really just a little bit of water energy. Maybe by reconnecting with the meaning, with the purpose of all of this, with how it feels to be doing this, with the why and the what, and that the spiritual connection, the deeper significance of this work, whatever this is here, right? Whatever this activity is, this growth, this cultivation, this success, this really amazing something that's happening. If we can connect a little bit of water energy to it, to reflect, again with the water, reflect on what this means to us, right? Are we doing it to support ourselves, our family? Are we doing something that's a pure expression of our creativity, of our spirit? Are we trying to help the world? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Then maybe we can easily just slip down, through all of the rope. Maybe we'll realize that the ropes suddenly have gotten looser and we can just slip right out of them. Because I have a feeling that right now we might be getting a little bit tangled in some of these thoughts, especially since we have conscious, unconscious, and then even the general energy is kind of just a lot of thinking here. But we don't really need to think. We need to feel and we need to act. We don't really need to engage too much of the inner monologue here, because I feel like it has a tendency to get a little bit negative, and too much of it is going to prevent us from making any progress. So we tap into a little bit of water energy here, we're able to slip right out, and we become this Prince of Discs in the environment. The Prince of Discs in the environment, again, is it's a card about interpersonal relationships. I think this is how you're out engaging with other people, getting this business together, getting this project finished up, putting everything together, using your air energy, but in a positive way, in a constructive way. Because the air energy here, none of this is constructive. This is air on air. This is air. This is air. But the Prince of Discs is air, but in the realm of the earth. It's a practical usage of our speech, of our communication, of our thinking. It is progressive, right? It's forward thinking. It's very productive. So I think this is the kind of energy that we need to get into, rather than in all of this self-doubt, all of this kind of, whatever exactly that is. We need to slip out of those bindings by tapping into the water energy, and that kind of motivates us to, to keep building, to keep doing what we need to be doing to get here. Because this Princess of Discs, that's amazing. And the fact that we need still our own efforts, can't just sit back and wait for it to happen. We have to continue pushing forward in this balanced kind of way, letting things happen. We're making things happen. We meet right in the middle, because this is our deal. We're still in charge. It's still up to us. The Two of Wands says you still have to be the one to finish everything. You still have to do the work. Nothing's being handed to you. But if you continue with this fire and earth kind of cooperation, it's going to be really great. Things are really going to happen. So this is a good way to get to that. Let's focus our thoughts, our efforts, our communication. Let's network. Let's make the phone calls. Let's go out and do what we got to do to get this thing, built properly. Yeah, it's very exciting. The next card, we get into some more fire energy. See, we started with the fire that kind of kicked everything off. And then we're ending with some fire too. Now, the Ace of Wands in the position of what we don't want. I think this is kind of saying that, look, we don't want to have to start over, right? We don't want to have to go back to the spiritual drawing board, to the creative drawing board. So it's very important, really, for us to get out of this tangle of air, so that we don't end up missing the window of opportunity, or, in some way sabotaging this. And then, yes, maybe we'd have to start over from the beginning. We'd have to kind of go back to square number one, so to speak. But we do need this, because this is kind of our connection with our creativity. We need to kind of renew this creativity in every moment. We need to remember, this is kind of the what or the why of what we're doing. This is your initial creative spiritual impulse. That this was kind of this was the starting gun, let's say, that really got this horse moving in the first place. This was your great idea, the aha moment, the fire or the fireworks or whatever that startled the horse, and the horse started running, started carrying you away. So this is something that we do have to reconnect with. We have to continue with this creative spark. We have to keep it lit, And I think that this is important because this isn't this isn't your last rodeo, This horse is going to still be here, still need to be ridden and, exercised. So the kind of result of all of this, or the real, I think, deeper lesson, is to understand how our creative process, or you may not even consider yourself an artist or a creative or something. Maybe this is strictly business, right? If it is, that's fine too. That's still a creative process to me, at least, right? We're still going from fire to earth. Fire to earth. If you're a follower of this channel, to me, that represents the creative process. Straight from source, straight from inspiration, the fire of spirit, right? The force and fire of creativity, manifesting in something concrete, in a business, in a relationship, in a piece of art, in whatever it is, piece of music. But being given form, fire to form, okay? And that, I think, is really, that's the process that we're in here. Learning how to balance the creativity with the practical side of it, the fire with the form here, with the earth. I like to shake the cards like we're in an iPhone. And we kind of get that over here at the end too, because the final thing is, this is your destiny to get a handle on your own creative process. The final card is the lust or strength card. And this is all about discipline, controlling, learning how to harness this fire. Because now, maybe what we're used to is this Knight of Wands. This is a horse that gets startled by an idea and just takes off, and you're just left holding on for dear life, right? This is the horse that's running away with the rider. What we want is the deeper, more spiritual, let's say, spiritual understanding of that process, so that we're no longer just along for the ride, that we're now in control of this horse, right? That we have now tamed this beast, and it is kind of going where we will. Now we're just kind of, horse and rider are one, And to me, this is it's the same kind of energy, but one is a deeper, more spiritual understanding of the process, and thus better handle on it, so to speak, right? A little bit more control, a little bit more we know how to harness it now. We're one with it. It's no longer just the horse galloping away and we're just holding on for dear life. No, now we're doing it together. Horse and rider are one. And I think that this is the deeper lesson for you in whatever this current situation is. It's going to be, I think, very amazing. I think this was meant to be in order to teach you how to continue this process, because, like I said, this isn't going to be your last rodeo, right? So, speaking of horses, let's do our mystery card now. Thank you, horse. We'll find a name for you eventually, too. As far as what this could be, I'd like to see a 6 of something, showing that it is, I guess a 9 or a 10 would be okay too. But I think a 6 would show that we're understanding the process, and we are on our way to kind of receiving this abundance and creating the abundance, right? As we're meeting in the middle of this creative process. So I would like to see a 6. I think a 6 going right here in the middle would be perfect. So we've got the Emperor. So this is, again, kind of the deeper lesson of things, because it is a major arcana card, just like this lust or strength card. I think the Emperor is someone now who is an excellent writer, right? They've mastered this card. And now they really can see everything from this more elevated position. Now they realize that they're in control not only of the creative process, but of their destiny and life itself. You know, this is someone who now understands that the things that you decide and the things that you do right now are going to have long-term effects on your empire, your kingdom. Yeah. So this is almost this is a very serious card, right? It shows that we have a tremendous responsibility, not only for our lives, but we have a responsibility to our loved ones, to our community, to the world at large, right? So now it seems even more important that we take this into a more kind of global perspective, where we do want to continue to make progress in our life, but we also don't want to overrun, we don't want to steamroll nature, right? We want to let the natural process also kind of have its will and fulfill itself, and we can meet in the middle and have this wonderful success all together. We have to understand that just like the horse and the rider are one, right? Horse and rider are one. Humankind and nature are one. We're not outside of nature, right? We're not just some, mechanical force that is, even a mechanical force is part of nature. There's nothing that's not part of nature, right? So we need to stop looking at it as if we're against nature. And I think that it's a more macrocosmic perspective, but it also applies to your life, right? We don't feel as if we need to dominate our life, dominate these other things, people, processes around us, our environment, even our local environment. We don't need to dominate it. We need to work together. We need to meet in the middle with it. Horse and rider need to be one. Unified, I think this is a good message for you. Now we're going to do an extended. If you would like to stick around, click on the link that's in the corner, and that will take you to the membership page where you can have access to all of the extended readings for every sign. Okay? It's a great way to support the channel, and I really do appreciate memberships. Eventually, some new content will be coming down the line for our memberships, but we'll deal with that in another post. Definitely cross-watch, check your other placements, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you for taking this journey with me, and thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.